Hey YouTube, in this video I'm going to list my top 10 favorite WCA events. So who doesn't like a nice top 10 list? Before we begin, keep in mind that these are my personal favorites, and yes, opinions are allowed on the internet, believe it or not. So if your favorite event isn't on this list, I'm sorry. Actually, I'm not. I don't really care. Anyway, let's get on with the video. So the 10th place WCA event on my list is 3x3 blindfolded. It's pretty awesome to be able to take off a blindfold and see a solved 3x3 in front of you. Many people try to learn this event but give up because it's too hard, but trust me, it's worth it. Sure, it does take a lot of time and effort, but the amount of street cred you get for being able to solve a Rubik's Cube blindfolded makes it feel like all your practice was for a good reason. The only reason it's not higher on my list is because I personally don't have much incentive to practice anymore, because I just don't get that much enjoyment from breaking my PB on it. I kinda prefer to just prove that I can still do it every once in a while. Oh boy, here comes the controversy. Alrighty, deep breath. 9th on my list is 3x3 with feet. Wait, let me explain. This event comes in phases for me. I really get into it and do a bunch of feet solves for a few days or a week, but then I forget about it for quite a while. The only reason it makes it on the list is because, in all honesty, it's pretty fun. I get to work on look ahead a lot, so I feel like my feet solves are more efficient than my normal solves. If you haven't tried it before, I recommend you do just for the heck of it. If you don't like it, at least you can say you tried. Alright, fine, maybe it shouldn't be on the list. Number 8 is 4x4. Honestly, there's not much to say about it. It's fun. I like it. 3-2-3 edges and Yao is really fun and satisfying, but I still don't practice 4x4 all that much. It's cool in general, though. So, yeah. Next up is number 7, which is Skewb. Skewb is the most recently added WCA event, added in 2014, and I'm glad that it's an event. It's pretty short and really enjoyable, even though I don't practice it as much as I'd like to. The best part of it is finishing off a solve with a couple nice Polish sledges. That never gets old. Remember how I said how I don't like practicing 3x3 blindfolded because getting faster doesn't matter that much to me? Well, this next event pretty much solves that problem. Multi-blind is an awesome event, and arguably one of the most impressive. When I watch world-class multi-blinders solve 30 to 40 cubes with a blindfold on, it blows my mind. It's even more fun to do it yourself, though, even if you're not quite at world-class level yet. It's a nice event because even though there is a time limit, you're not really trying to beat the clock. It's cubing's ultimate test of the human memory, and I really enjoy it. In 5th place, I decided to put 5x5. 5x5 is one of those events that I never really realize how much I enjoy it until I see how often I'm tempted to just pick one up and start solving. A couple of my friends and I have a joke that whenever we're video calling and they want to show me something, I'm always somehow in the middle of a 5x5 solve. It's probably a mixture of placebo and confirmation bias, but still the amount of times it happens is really weird. I never even feel like I like 5x5 all that much, but in the end, I really do. There's just something about free slicing with just 3 edge pieces to pair up as opposed to 4 or 5 on a 6x6 or 7x7 that makes 5x5 seem half simple and half complicated. I also feel like the hardware for 5x5 is so good at this point, so that adds to its enjoyability a ton. I really love my Yushin 5x5 and it's pretty close to perfect for me, and that's one of the major reasons I have 5x5 as number 5.
Yes! Overall PB again! Someone... Yes, again!
I'm gonna be honest, the next 3 fluctuate so much for me. I love them all pretty much equally, so much so that it was hard to pick actual places for them to go. I think the numbers of these next 3 are kind of arbitrary and will change over time for me, so just keep that in mind. That being said, the event that got 4th place on this list is Square 1. I actually used to not like Square 1 that much, but then Chi came and changed everything. The Chi Square 1 allows me to do finger tricks without pops or lockups, unlike on my Calvins. This just made Square 1 10 times more enjoyable for me. It's the longest event that I've actually done an average of 1,000 solves in, and that entire average was really enjoyable for me. Of course it happened over a week or two, but during that time period, I was obsessed with Square 1. I really love this event, and I think it definitely deserves its spot in the top 4. Next up, we have a pretty underrated event, which is Megaminx. For me, Megaminx takes 3rd place because it's just so much fun. It's the sort of event where you can improve really quickly if you set your mind to it, and that's a good feeling. I also kind of love spamming TPS on Megaminx during solves. Personally, the only reason I average what I do on Megaminx is just because I turn fast, more so than I do on pretty much every other event. Also, Megaminx is pretty much a long 3x3 solve with a bunch of repeated F2L, which I personally like for some reason. Now, number 2 is an event that you all knew would be up here somewhere. That event is 3x3. Even though 3x3 is not my favorite event, it is an event that I practice a ton, and I do really enjoy the solves I do on it. When I tell people I solve Rubik's Cubes, they think of a 3x3. I also really like the prospect of improving and someday being sub 10, even though it probably won't happen for me for years to come. I could sing the praises of 3x3 for hours on end if you wanted me to, but I think all of you know why the event is this high on my list. Finally, we've reached the top of the list. My number one favorite WCA event probably won't come as a surprise to any of you who know me or watch my channel regularly, and that event is, of course, Pyraminx. If we're being honest, the main reason I like Pyraminx was because I got a 4.92 second solve in a competition a couple years back, and realized that I was decent at the event. From there, I just kept practicing until I got to the point where I decided it was my main event. For me personally, it's just so much fun. The method I use is intuitive L4E, and I really like intuitive methods, so that's a plus. I also love how quick the event is. It barely takes any time to do a solve or two, unlike most other events on this list. There's not really much more I can say, I just really love Pyraminx.
Yes! This is like...
Anyway, that's my list of my favorite WCA events. In the comments, be sure to let me know all the reasons why my list is wrong and yours is better. Or don't. Doesn't make much of a difference to me. Alrighty, so that's about it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on my next video.
Dude, you could have been sub 2. Aw, whatever. It's a good single anyway.
Guess how I won, right?